Welcome back for hour 2. I'm Ben.
And I'm Carrie.
And we're with Coldwell Banker Siewer Realtors here in Wisconsin Rapids.
That is right.
So remember, these shows are pre-recorded, so we're a little bit ahead of the air date. I know it's airing on Sunday on AM 1320 WFHR. And we also run this on our podcast. So you can check out the podcast on your favorite podcast player. Just search for Carrie Nicolai. Or you can go on myrapids.com and check under our podcast and blog tab. And while you're there, you can check out local inventory. So that's pretty cool.
It's a one-stop shopping.
Pretty much, yeah. We've got a tab that you can drop down for links of local activities and websites that you can go to for that. So not just the activities and events, but also links to the local municipalities' websites.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I know you like the compost pile.
I do.
The recycling pile.
And I did pass up some plants laying on the side of the road when I was down in Nakusa last week.
I'm so proud of you.
I did. I left them there only because I had the bed of the truck with something that couldn't get dirty.
Right.
So that was like the sad part, because I did drive by. There's like 15, 20 plants laying in the road. I'm like, oh, those poor plants. I should rescue them. But then I realized I have no place to put them.
So now if you've been following us, that's part of our conversation we had with Rapids Mayor Shane Blazer, is the kind of the differences between like Nakusa and Port Edwards, perhaps, versus Rapids, where Rapids doesn't do the curbside pickup of the compost items.
Leaf grass pickup. Right,
the green materials. But they do have scheduled times, and it's on their website, about brush collection. And our big ratio that came through a couple years ago, they increased that brush collection a little bit because you got to clean up the town.
Right.
So yeah, head over to all those websites, depending on what municipality you're living in, and that can help you out too.
All right.
So what do you want to talk about for hour 2?
Well, hour 2, we're going to hit up on some community events because we are airing this on May 23rd. So we're doing this on Wednesday night. So May 23rd is when this is being aired. So May 24th. So this is going to be a kickoff to Memorial Weekend. Friday, we're getting that long 3-day weekend, that sort of thing. So Coldwell Banker Siewer is doing a give back to the community night. And so we are doing a Dairy Queen night.
A Dairy Queen night.
DQ night at Coldwell Banker Siewer. So
it's at our office?
It is at our office.
325 8th Street South.
Right across the street from Cravings.
Look for the large marquee. It says Coldwell Banker Siewer Realtors.
Right. And we're going to be doing this kickoff, a little give back to the community, saying thanks to our veterans out there who have served and, just kind of giving back. So we're going to be doing that from 5 until 7 o'clock. We have 150 red, white, and blue DQ stars to hand out.
So is this an ice cream treat on a popsicle stick?
I'm not exactly sure what it is. This is my son's favorite snack.
Okay.
So in order,
so it's a Dairy Queen.
It's a Dairy Queen treat. I'm not sure if it's like a sherbet or if there's ice cream in it. I really don't know.
It's in the shape of a star.
It's in the shape of a star.
Why did we choose the stars?
Well, we chose the stars because Coldwell Banker has got our catchphrase for the year of guiding you home. We just went through the brand change of using the star as the North Star logo. So why not hand out a star on a Coldwell Banker Siewer night? So we are handing these stars out. They are tasty. My son loves them. And I'm sure your children or you yourself. I mean, it's free to everybody. So the first 150 people, it's going to be a drive-through event. So you're going to come in off of 8th Street. You're going to come into the parking lot. You are going to see our big mobile office. It's going to say guiding you home on the backside when you come in, and on the front side, you're going to come around the corner. We're going to have agents on each side. So that way 2 cars can be serviced at one time. And we're just going to be handing out stars.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Drive through, drive up.
Drive through Dairy Queen night at Coldwell Banker Siewer. It is going to be spectacular. It'll be written in the stars.
Ooh, there you go.
I know.
And then, of course, if you have questions when you're there or you're curious, and we'll be handing out business cards, you can give us your name or contact information. If you're also curious about listing your house or buying a house, it's kind of, the one-stop shop.
Right. So, we're trying to make this contactless at this point. Again, we're looking out for people's safety, that sort of thing, but it's going to be a great night. You're going to be able to meet quite a bit of our agents and have Dairy Queen on us. So again, that's going to be on Monday, May 24th. I have to do it looking at a calendar because otherwise I'm going to mess this up. So it'll be the 24th from 5 until 7 or until the stars run out.
Until all the stars have fallen.
Once the stars have fallen, it will be done.
And then we can wish
upon a shooting star.
There you go.
And the really great thing is, we're using a local business. So Dairy Queen here in Wisconsin Rapids is owned by a local person. So again, tying in that local, using somebody local is going to be really great. So big thanks to Dairy Queen for doing a special order for us. We do appreciate that. And we are looking forward to our stars.
Great. We definitely appreciate the veterans.
We do.
And appreciate everybody in the community and for letting us guide you to your home.
Mm-hmm.
That whole catchphrase is phenomenal, but it's really accurate. It is what we do.
We do. We're working with with a buyer. We just got an accepted offer with this buyer, guiding them through, okay, you know what, let's just start looking, just, how do you like this kitchen setup to, do you want a 2-story home? Do you want a huge backyard? Here's a small little house. They wanted a fixer-upper. I gave them a fixer-upper.
You're like, that's too much fixing up?
They said too much fixing up. So guiding them through this whole entire process of, okay, well, what do you really like? I liked a little bit of this house and I liked a little bit about this house. We had to be, how do we store the third car? Because it was important to that family. So, getting all those pieces together and just kind of guiding them to that right house. And we were super excited. I think there was a lot of happy clapping when we finally got that accepted offer. So we're excited.
And that one hasn't been too long. I think we were only working them for like 6 months working with them.
I'm really not sure.
It's not like some of our other clients who have been years, which is just fine as well.
Right. We always keep saying that we're the marathon runners of real estate. If it takes you 2 years, it takes you 2 years. If it only takes you the first house because it's perfect for you, great. We will help you out throughout that whole entire process. So whether or not it's one house or I think my longest is over 100 homes to go take a look at. But we finally found them the perfect home. And that's what it's about. It's about finding that perfect home.
And then sometimes the home that they built their family in comes available and we just guide them back to where they were.
Yes, that is like my favorite story.
It is pretty cool.
It is. Family raised, that's where they raised their kids. When the grandkids came, they needed a bigger home. Went to the bigger home. Grandkids got big. They wanted to go back to a smaller home. And it's just so how happened that their first house was available. So we moved them back into their first home. Sometimes it works out that way. They knew where all their stuff went. They didn't have to have that dating period of a new home of, okay, well, do we put the TV in this corner? Well, maybe the couch should go over here. There was no dating period with the house. They moved in. They're like, and this goes here because that's where it was. We built that cabinet for this purpose and the cabinet is still here. So, it was easy move in.
I think it'd be really cool if everybody who moves into their second or third home just feels at home like that. Every buyer, I think we want to feel at home like that. We
always say, buy the house that hugs you. If the house doesn't hug you, it's not the home for you. Look at this, the safety. We always tell people to visit those neighborhoods, at different periods of the day or different periods of the week. So now I realize that in this market, we don't have that option. But if it's one of those things where, I think I like Grand Rapids, well, go visit it on a Saturday afternoon. Park the car over at Wazeecha, go walk around some of the neighborhoods, see how it feels. Do you feel safe in this area? Or if we know that we want to be close to where mom and dad are living, which may be downtown Nakusa. So find what block you would like. So that way when a home does kind of come up on the market near there, you're going to know that's where I want to be.
this whole process is all about compromises, unless you're building a brand new house in the perfect location for you. I mean, these are gently used houses.
They are.
Some less gently than others, but they're pre-owned. And there's always a compromise. It's rare that you find just exactly wholly that right one. You always have to make it your own.
Right. And we always look at it, we come into a home, we try not to question, why did they put carpet here? You walk in through the front door and the first thing you step on is carpet. Well, you got wintertime, you got the boots, you got the water, you got the snow. Why didn't they put something else? To me, that's not something we should focus on. We want to focus on that flow of the room. When you come into the house, do you want to have that catch-all area? Do you want that mud room to put the coats, the boots, and everything before you get into the house? What is it that you are looking for? Do you want to have a running circle? We call it the track, where everything's all open and the kitchen's in the middle and the kids can literally run around in a whole entire circle and just do laps in the house. If you don't want those running areas, maybe we don't look at a home that's set up that way. So it's about the flow of the home.
And like you mentioned, guiding people into this process, it's really listening to what they're saying about the home and squelching some of the minor concerns that they're making the mountain out of a molehill sort of deal. Had one person just really, really enjoy the house and the location was pretty decent, but they saw that there was wallpaper in the kitchen. And oh my goodness, they were stuck on the wallpaper. I'm like, hold on. If the wallpaper wasn't there, what do you think? Well, there is the wallpaper there. Like, okay, but we can help you get the wallpaper removed by finding you a contractor that can come in and do it for you. Although I know that the wallpaper is from the 1930s and it's probably not stuck on the wall too well because it's already half peeling off. So don't get stuck on the thing that's just peeling off already. Really had to guide them into focusing on what's the rest of the house. Tell me your feelings about the rest of the house.
Right. I always love the people who are kitchen people. We're kitchen folk. We like to hang out in our kitchen.
The kitchen is the heart of
it is the heart.
Home.
But we find that out. So then we try to there's usually 4 of us. If we get some parents with us or some aunts and uncles, we try to cram everybody then into the kitchen and see how tight that is. So we might discover that we need to have a bigger kitchen because, hey, look, there's 6 people in this kitchen. We're kind of all crammed together. So if that's where you spend a lot of your time, maybe we look at a bigger kitchen or we look at how can we make this kitchen bigger.
Another thing, just kind of a generalization talking about the market. And we have all these great stories about people, successfully getting into houses and stuff like that. I just want to reiterate, it still happens. I know
it does.
A lot of people are stuck that they have a mindset they don't want to compete for a house. They just want to be the one that comes in on their white horse in the knight in shining armor and is the buyer for this, the sole buyer for this house. And it's not like that. Especially in this market, it's just not like that. So guiding these buyers past that mindset and into the mindset that we are writing offers that are getting accepted. Houses are coming on the market regularly now. And I'd like to shout out and thank all of the people who are willing to sell their homes and move into the next phase of their life. But it's a guiding of these buyers through these, mindset challenges.
Or it's even the sellers too.
And sellers, right.
We're trying to guide you through because we're closing that chapter on that house. This may be the house where you got engaged at, that you brought your first child home to. It has a lot of firsts to it. And so now we're emotionally attached to the house, which is great. That is wonderful. I was emotionally attached to my home on 11th Street. It is the exact layout of my grandmother's house. Her house is a little bit bigger than what I had. It was perfect. I loved that house. I still love that house. But it's the mindset of it's time to close a chapter and it's okay to let go of this because there's something better out there waiting for you. And it's getting you to that point of this will be okay. We'll hold your hand through it if we need to and get it all closed up so that way you feel good about selling your home.
Well, and in our case, all of the reasons why you purchased the house revolved around the boys, the children, and how close it was to amenities that they could go walk and take care of themselves and really promote that
self-independence.
Right. They can do it.
Yep.
Right. And we became empty nesters, and, they're still being independent now, doing their own things, which it worked.
It did.
You created an atmosphere to give them the confidence, and now they're showing that they still have that in their own lives, in their own ways, now that they're more of it in the adult environment. And we're able to allow the house to come up for sale, hoping that, and we really didn't know who was going to be purchasing it, but we hope that someone else now is enjoying those same benefits and perhaps, building their family around those same amenities.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. And we really try to guide people through these good portions of it and not dwell on the negatives that, have to balance
may come up.
Right.
There's always a balance, for every single good story we have about, working with us. That story may have a couple, we had some trips and falls along the ways. Every sale has that. I almost want to say we had like 3 in 4 years that it was clear sailing. It was like, this is what I want to do. And we accomplished it. And, the stars aligned just right and it worked out. There are some where, a buyer may have a situation with an appraisal or with the home inspection. Something came up that we weren't aware of, because that's what the home inspection is for, is to kind of look at the house as a whole. And we weren't aware of something. So we've had to work through that situation to have a positive outcome. But during that, it was, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was broken in my house. So for every good side, we do have, there are some situations where things were a little bit dicey, but we managed to help that seller move past that and have a positive experience at the end.
With the market being the way it is, with so focused on sellers and finding listings and homes for sale, there's more and more people trying to list their homes themselves. I'm not sure that everyone who does that sees past the quick sale, the quick dollar sign money. We just had a conversation this morning in our firm's staff meeting about sort of navigating through that for sale by owner and understanding what's the mindset of the for sale by owner seller, and helping people realize that there's a whole lot that goes behind the sale of their house. And that's what we're here for.
Right. It's negotiating those contracts and, understanding how they all work together, all those contingencies. How does that work with everything else? And if you don't have someone who's trained in doing that, you could run into hiccups and have a sale get pushed back or have a sale fall apart because one side of that is not understanding all of those details that need to be handled.
Or having your profits diminished. There's a lot of national statistics. We don't have as much access to the statistical data to kind of vision houses that sold with the real estate agent versus houses that sold by for sale by owner. But nationally, there's what was it? Between 3 and 6%. You'll find that you gained 3 or 6% profit by going with a real estate agent versus selling yourself, because we know the market, and we can also help qualify the buyers that are presenting offers to you.
Right. And we're the ones that, we can go to bat for our buyers or for our sellers, whatever that happens to be. So if something does come up, we can do okay, you know what? We need to take care of this right away. We're the ones who can worry for you versus now I have to take a day off of work and go deal with the showing or get a hold of this contract or trying to find this person to take care of that. There's a lot of, I can spend the whole entire day on the phone trying to find contractors to take care of a roof when, that could have been on the seller and he could have had to take a day off of work, and that affects his income, where I look at the seller and go, okay, not a problem. I will find you the contractor. We'll get this all set up.
Right. And then we find multiple contractors and we present you an option and say, this is the 1 or 2, 3, 4 contractors that can do this job for you. Here, choose one, and then we can get everything scheduled and set for you.
Right. We're going to be behind those scenes, making sure that those dates and deadlines are matching. And, you've got questions that need to be answered. We can get a hold of the people that we need to in order to get those questions answered. I'm not saying quicker than you, but in a decent time frame, because we can spend the whole entire day just focused on that one question. And really, if that means calling a contractor 6 times a day to get them to pick up their phone or to understand that it's really important that they get a hold of me, I can do that.
And then the smaller tasks along the way that just take up time. The first big one is the showings. And we've experienced this ourselves where there's so much interest. There are just so many showings in such a short period of time. Tongue twister. But it's true. And people are excited to see houses and to get them through in an organized fashion. And then handling that so that their agents or themselves can present offers and get those offers presented to you as a seller. That whole process.
Well, and the showings,
fielding the questions along the way.
Yeah, with those showings, I mean, you do it for sale by owner and people see it and you got 20 phone calls within an hour. And that's all you're doing is answering your phone and trying to set things up. You're trying to go to work. You're trying to get your work done. Your phone is blowing up. I think some bosses may not like that, where that you hire the real estate agent, they take care of that for you. They're the one who's going to be scheduling that. They may just look at you and say, you know what, for the first day of showings, the first day on the market, we're just going to line up the buyers. We'll just plan on your house being able to be shown right away. We'll just line up all the buyers. They'll come through and we'll move on to the next day. We'll approach this one day at a time and we'll line up the buyers. We'll let you know who's coming in and at what time. And if there's a time that doesn't work for you, please let us know.
So I think there's kind of 3 big categories that us as real estate agents do for our seller clients. There's the reduction of stress and anxiety, because we can handle a lot of things for you as being our client. We can advocate for you, certainly. Streamline things as well, like we just discussed. There's also the pricing appropriately so that you get the most value, but yet still get the sale to closing appropriately.
Right. We look at the price and go, okay, is this going to appraise out or not? We know what that market has been looking at, what they've been appraising at. And if you're not in the market every single day, seeing what has sold, has not sold, may not understand some of the backsides of things, that could be, a little bit tricky. You may be accepting an offer that it's not going to appraise out. And now what do? You have no one there to guide you.
And then the third and kind of final part is marketing. We have a whole dedicated marketing program backed by Coldwell Banker as a national entity. And Coldwell Banker is just a huge name and they have such prowess that it's fantastic. We can bring it to our small community as well. So they've got assets that we can utilize, e-marketing, all of the social media prowess as well. And they're also getting into, connecting with the new generation through music and the new set of homeowners and people listing their homes to move to different parts of their life. So this past year, Coldwell Banker Corporate has really connected with a lot of really cool music partners. Who's this?
Kelsey Ballerini.
So
she is the latest one that, contacted Coldwell Banker directly and said, hey, I've got this really cool song that's coming out. I want to do a video. I would love to use your sign. Can we do this? So I want to say, what is it? The first 15, 20 seconds?
It comes up a couple of times through the video.
Throughout the video?
Right.
So yeah, throughout the video, there's Coldwell Banker. There is Coldwell Banker. I shouldn't say C word, but Coldwell Banker's out, in this video. Millions of people are watching this, which is really cool.
Yeah. So not, excuse me, that's kind of a reflection on corporate Coldwell Banker, and our office is independently owned and operated.
Mm-hmm.
But we're using those same levels of prowess to help market your property as a seller and get it out to as many of the right candidates to buy your home as possible. Because there are buyers who are maybe wanting to make offers, but they've got so many contingencies, it's probably not right for you. Like you said, looking at price, if someone comes in and they just try to overwhelm with the pricing thing, it's like, hold on, maybe this might not be a right fit to get to closing. So navigating through that as well.
Right. There's a lot that goes in with selling and buying a home, and it's always best to have someone alongside you, just guiding you through this. And I don't mind holding people's hands. We can do that. And
this is actually kind of fun.
It is. It really is. I mean, we've met so many neat people throughout this. I mean, I look at from our first listing that we ever took, it was a good friend of yours, Porter. He was our first listing we ever took, to our first sale, again, up in Rudolph, helping out that family. That was a family where mom was going into a nursing home. So it was the first experience of working with a family of, we need to sell the family home. This is where 2 generations of family grew up. We're going to sell it. How do we help that family close that chapter in their lives and feel good about it? So it's been really fun. It's been very entertaining. I love it.
And I think it's neat to correlate how national trends come into our small community.
Mm-hmm.
Normally there's a delay. We'll see the bigger metropolitan areas kick onto a trend of, whether it's this type of house or that type, or pricing increases, those types of things. And it'll take a little bit of a trickle down time to get to our neck of the woods.
Right.
Just because, we're a little bit disconnected from the fast-paced metro areas.
Well, it takes a little while for some of those trends to catch up with the rural areas.
Right.
So, it's there. So do we have our blog today? I see that you got the statistics out in front of you. So I have a feeling when we're going down the statistic row here.
Well, it is that time of month again.
Okay.
And some people
and
do
I know that
enjoy
you're
them.
keeping an eye on the clock there, because I know how long it takes for you to go through all the statistics. So I know we're at that point. So you're going to take it away with the statistics, aren't you?
Well, let's start with some news.
Okay. News. I love news.
So from the National Association of Realtors.
Okay.
I like looking at the national scope of things to start seeing some trends.
And then you narrow it down to us.
Let's narrow it down to us. Okay. So we talked about earlier in the month, one of the judges, the federal judges, said that the national eviction moratorium was not something that should have been under the CDC's guidance.
Correct.
So that's being appealed.
Okay.
And they're looking at that appeal going, well, it was actually based on the House of Representatives and the Senate and our legislative side of things sort of backing up, going, yes, the CDC still has the pandemic coverage, emergency powers sort of thing.
Okay.
That was back in December.
Okay.
So now it's being appealed. So this is still in flux. So those who are looking at evictions, this moratorium is in flux. Look to your local legislation people, to find out more information about that if you're curious about the eviction moratorium.
Okay.
So I just want to put that out there. It's not all doom and gloom. It's going to go back and forth through the courses of, politics.
Excellent.
That, however, does not affect, that's just at the federal level. So now, if the states individually have put together a moratorium or a ban on evictions, that's separate from the federal level. Okay. A lot of things in politics are like that. And of course, our country is based upon the powers of the state.
Right.
So that's why, the CDC guidance and then comes to the state level.
Well, we got all our levels. If we put it, I always look at the branches of the military, you got your Pentagon,
and then it goes into
there's the ladder
all the way down to the field operating bases.
Yep. And locals always at the bottom. There's always somebody above the local. There's someone above the county. There's someone above the state.
Exactly.
We got our ladders.
So a lot of people are looking at what are the interest rates going to be doing this next year.
Okay.
So the economists over at Realtor.com, really they're seeing that interest rates are going to maintain being favorable, definitely throughout the rest of the year. We may get up into the high threes, like 3.8, 3.9.
So still fairly low from...
Oh, still fantastic.
Yeah, still very low.
No one's saying or estimating, foreseeing, they're looking ahead in their glass, sphere, and like the magician looks. They're not
the magic 8 ball.
There you go. They're not saying that 5% is going to be happening this year. Interest rates are going to creep up a little bit, but it's not going to be anything dramatic. We're still in a rebound of an economy.
Right.
Okay. So they also did a survey, and throughout these couple hundred people that they surveyed, they asked them, so how likely are you to sell in the next year, the next 10 to 12 months? 1 out of 10 said, yes, now we were waiting to sell, but we're looking to sell this year, which is fantastic. Many of them, over half of them, about 60%, are saying that they're going to be selling probably in the early summer. So they're waiting for lumber prices and finishing up some things, and for the vaccinations to happen and the pandemic to we've been talking about this.
Oh yeah.
So they're looking at doing that, and so this is coming from a national scope, and I think we're seeing that trend here locally as well.
Okay.
I mean, you've heard, you've seen, getting feedback from people just anecdotally, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that really came in from the last year is a lot of virtual things, right?
Yes.
Talking to people over the phone, lenders over the phone, just the disconnection from people. Well, Realtor.com in their survey kind of asked about that, and people are giving feedback that, yeah, virtually stuff and the web-based stuff, it's probably going to stay a little bit in some forms. I mean, all of our electronic signing forms, staging homes, all that informational stuff. We're doing a lot of 360 tours, and I think that's been well received.
Yeah.
They're understanding that those things are here to stay, but they're wanting to come back into a in-person sort of atmosphere. Now, that's one of the things that we've seen at the office, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
We've had a lot more call-ins, a lot more walk-ins as well.
Oh, I was just thinking, we have more of our agents coming back to the office on a daily basis now. Before, maybe 1 or 2 of us were in, but now we're seeing, the parking lot is getting full. So we're back to kind of someone's parking in my parking spot. Where do I park now? Because I'm used to parking in the same spot. But it's great to have everybody back in the office because, again, we can collaborate more of things that are coming up on the market. Maybe something we're going through a transaction and we need a little bit of help, guidance with something. Maybe it's something new that we haven't seen that somebody else has seen. So just be able to have that collaboration of, I don't know who to call to put in a radon mitigation system because this is my first transaction that had a high radon. Where do I go? Normally it was a pick up the phone or you sent a text to everybody and just, ask that question. But now we can just kind of do who's done
pop your
radon?
head off the, out the office window and go, hey, you guys over there, do you remember that one time that we had the radon thing? And they're like, oh yeah, it was, what's his face?
Right. We can rattle something off pretty quick. So, it's great to have people back in, and even some of the lenders I've talked with, they're so excited about being in the office. We had one lender over a year. They did not sit at their desk because they've been at home for over a year and they're excited about going into work. Now, granted, it's still a little bit on limited basis, but they're excited that they go to work and they're able to sit down in front of their people and talk directly with them and not have the internet cut out or every other word gets dropped. The frustration that is, because maybe they're a little bit on the elderly side and don't understand how to use the computer. And so you spend half the time talking to them through on how to click on something.
And getting our clients in the conference room as well, so that we can, it's so much easier and faster to go over the documents, for instance, especially the first time you go through them.
Oh, especially this
explaining and
this last week we had 3 documents get eaten up by the internet. I don't know
it's like
how.
magic.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it was very frustrating. Where before we would meet at the office, we'd write the contract, I would show it to you, and we'd go through everything and sign right there. Well, now I go home, you go home, and I do everything electronically and send it to you. We call, we talk to you. It's, very non-personal.
Right.
So I do like meeting with our clients, in the house or at the office, wherever it happens to be.
Or even having them disconnected from being at their computer in their house. And, we can do all these presentations electronically, and Zoom has become a thing, and WebEx and all that jazz. But getting people out of that environment of their home to come to a conference table, that way we're focused on the task at hand. And,
right.
We can show them the MLS and show them comparable properties and really delve into that. And they're right there. We can get that vibe from each other. And it really helps, that working relationship, I think.
It does.
So virtual stuff is here to stay.
Okay.
But
maybe not used as much as it was in the past, but it will still be there.
Or having the feeling like we have to, because that's the only way that we can be absolutely certain and safe of certain things. Or
it's
whatnot. Great
for our out-of-state sellers.
Oh, it is.
So that way we can see what their face looks like. So, sometimes we just call them and we have a phone conversation. We send everything electronically. We have no idea what these people look like.
Right. And being able to have that connection then, using these things that this last year has trained most people to use. And even before the pandemic, we did a lot of electronic stuff, a lot of virtual stuff, the 3D tours. It just really came to the forefront in the last year. And so now people got used to it, and it's easier for most people to use because they had to.
Well, I know you like it because then you can line up your meetings. So you can go from one city council meeting to the next without having to leave home, and it's just a click and you're there to the next one. So you can actually get more city council meetings in on your day than anybody else, versus you would have to drive to the airport and then drive to City Hall and then drive to the next place. So,
well, it's more efficient for, appointment stuff like that, or, your Rotary group.
Yep.
And then if you have appointments after that, your Rotary meeting could be from one time to another, and then you don't have the personal chit chatter of, someone kind of grabbing your arm when you're in person and going, hey, let's talk about this. And now you're standing in the hallway for another hour, but
Yep.
you had a meeting that you had to go to where you could just, say, hey, goodbye, click end meeting. And now you have your next meeting up and running.
But I really do miss those whole entire grab me and just go, hey, we need to talk about this, or meet, in the beginning of the meeting of just going, you know what, I have this passion about this for our community. Can we talk about this? Can we do something on this? That part is super missed by so many. So when it's in person, it's a challenge to do I do have an appointment. I care about what you're talking about, but let's meet for coffee in 2 hours. Can we do that? So it's just a matter of remembering that we have things going on. But yeah, totally missed the in-person Rotary. Super excited about going back in June to be in person.
I like both ways.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's carry on. National median prices.
Okay.
So that, again, we've got average prices, which is one thing, but the median price is the price in the middle.
Right.
We're looking at statistics now for the first quarter of 2021.
Okay.
So that takes in the first 3 months.
Right. I thought we already did these numbers, but maybe not.
Right. So we're looking at national averages. Now I'm running this again so that we can look at our local averages and median prices
Okay.
right next. Okay.
Okay.
So the first quarter of this year was up 16% from the first quarter of last year.
Okay.
Now, the first quarter of last year was at the beginning of the pandemic. So those sales had started before the pandemic happened.
Right.
Right. Because they were closing
Right.
in the first quarter. Right. We got that. Up 16% year over year. National median price is right around $319,000.
Okay.
So let's pop over to our state, what closed in April.
All right.
Okay, so statewide in April, median price $235,000.
Okay. That's taking into account for those bigger markets.
Right, exactly.
So, okay.
Because national, you've got LA and New York and all that. So
those $3 million homes really throw off our prices.
Well, that's why the median price is more important than the average price.
Right.
And we've been discussing that before.
Right.
Good. So Wood County is $142,000 median price for April sales.
That's not bad. Way to go, Wood County.
It is up $11,000 month over month.
Excellent.
We are up $17,000 year over year.
Excellent.
So if we compare April now to April of last year, it has increased $17,000, which is good for the sellers, right?
Right.
And it's good for our tax base and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wood County, this is the highest April median price that we've seen, and the third highest median price month since my statistics go back to 2007.
Okay.
So again, everything is trending up and it's staying high. This is going to be a good year. Now for the statewide, this is the highest April that we've ever had. And it's tied for the highest all time with August of 2020. So the highest median price since might go back to 2007. It's phenomenal. And this was April, which means those sales started kind of in the wintertime, right? So people were writing offers in like January and February to close in April, right?
Right.
So that means people's interest in the wintertime was phenomenal again this year.
Yes, it was.
That's cool to see. Okay, so number of units sold, number of houses sold. And I know this is impersonal and it really, we talked the last hour and a half about the personal side of real estate, but looking at the market side of things is, I know it's dry, but let's go April sales.
Okay.
Statewide, just over 7,000 units sold.
Wow.
Yeah. That is the second highest April ever. Second only to 2016. Now that was well before a lot of the economic push really came. I mean, we really only saw this price and the home sales really push in the last 2 years. So like 2018, 2019, and 2020. So I guess that would be 3 years. So this was well before that.
All right.
Yeah. So we're back up. We're in a high trend. It's over 1,000 units month over month and over 1,000 units year over year.
So we're moving in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And like I said, all these started with accepted offers 30 to 45 days beforehand. Okay. So Wood County in April, 95 units were sold.
Cool.
Yeah. That is the second highest April for house sales, second to 2018.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and like I just mentioned, that's kind of trending with when this real estate market really started pushing, being a seller's market. So that's cool. It's up 43 units month over month. So we're comparing April to March.
Okay.
And it's up 26 units year over year. So comparing April of last year. Yeah, it's not too bad.
It is not bad at all.
Especially here in little old Wood County in the center part of the state.
Right. And those April sales, that would definitely be something that may have been started in first part of March is when we got that, safer at home order that was issued. That was, I want to say like mid-March is when that got issued. So, April, and then when May comes out, those numbers would be very interesting to kind of see as far as year over year or month over month, year over year of what happened with that pandemic, because a lot of people were, oh no, no one's moving, nothing's happening. You're supposed to be safe at home. It'll be nice to see what those numbers really turn out to be.
Yeah, definitely. Now, looking at for the Wisconsin Rapids area of Wood County, so that really takes into most of the southeastern part of the county.
So we're going to be adding, Port Edwards, Nakusa, maybe parts of Rome. No, maybe parts of Rome, depending upon how it was listed. But, Buren, Kellner, Grant, we're calling it the greater Wisconsin Rapids area.
Wisconsin Rapids area had 53 units sold in April.
Awesome. Way to go, guys.
Yeah. The median price was $130,000.
Which is really great for this area.
Right. And that matches pretty well with the median price in the county being $142,000.
Right. So we're not that far off from the county.
No. And one of the things that JR likes to bring up, our broker, is how that median price relates to what's called the affordability index.
Right.
So that's taking into account people's jobs, and what households are incoming as far as financially. And the affordability index is still really, really good, even at these median prices of $130,000, $140,000. So I don't see, and I haven't heard economists saying that these housing prices are going to crash or they're going to fall out. It's more likely that they're going to plateau and level off.
Right.
And then we'll go back to a normal appreciation of, 0.8% to 1.5% year over year. So we're looking forward to things leveling off.
Yes, we are.
There you go. You made it through the market segment.
Excellent.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Most of the times I do much better when I've got the sheet of paper in front of me and I can follow along a little bit more.
It's okay.
I know.
So, and we've realized that different buyers and different sellers, everybody's different and they like different things. Guiding your home, I'll try to do it with some statistics because I think it's pretty cool.
Right. You love the statistics. Once you start talking about percentages and stuff like that, I think of math class, and I've got to now take that and figure out, what that really turns out to be a dollar amount and that sort of thing. And I just like,
oh my gosh, there's so many.
I don't
so many numbers.
know. But it's great. When there are some people who do, they love the statistics. We've got kids who love that too. So, yeah. Right. So what is hot and what is not?
So I guess statistics versus not, whatever language you speak, we can help you with information. Hot or not. So we talked about the large manicured lawns are kind of sliding away and we're building living spaces outside.
Awesome. That means less lawn to mow.
Right.
Awesome.
But we get to use it with, new and upcoming equipment perhaps, because battery powered lawnmowers and string trimmers and edgers and blowers, and it's,
oh my,
I know the battery powered tools are coming into play. Those are very, very hot. Yeah, it's exciting. Okay, how about front porch? The swinging chairs on your front porch.
Love them. I'm in on them.
So does the rest of the market. Those are
excellent.
Hot. Mm-hmm. Now, since we're doing outdoor living spaces, maybe not putting those swinging chairs just on the front porch.
Or putting them around that campfire.
Right. So if you have a pergola, maybe hanging those from the pergola.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a freestanding swing or hammock.
I love the hammocks.
Yes, you do.
I do.
So there's a lot of options to take kind of that old-timey feel of swinging on the front porch
Well, if you do the pergola, you got to get the grapevines to have the grapevines grow over the top of the pergola. So that way you kind of get that little bit secret garden look of, you can have the grapes hanging down. I mean, it's super cool. I mean, there's a lot of really neat things you can do with a pergola.
And that's part of the other trend that's going on, making the outdoor spaces is sort of the Oriental garden, the walking path garden.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we've seen pools and hot tubs. I mean, sales of pools and hot tubs have just gone through the roof in the last 10 months.
Oh, yes.
Because everybody's staying home now and
Right.
they're enjoying their time at home.
And I know that we kind of talked a little bit about putting in a raised, pathway throughout the yard. So that way, it's humid out today. I mean, it was very humid. We had some nice rain, but we got to think of snow and ice and things like that, where the puddles formed in our backyard to, treacherous walking conditions. Even though it's 70 and sunny outside, we got to think of snow. We got to think about the ice throughout the year.
Oh, boo.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. So that's another sort of word to the wise. Make sure that all the seasons are accounted for when you do your landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is there anything else exciting? We've only got a few minutes here at the end of our second hour.
So again, I want to touch on, tomorrow night, please do not forget about our DQ night over at Coldwell Banker Siewer. We're going to be right off of A Street, right across the street from Cravings. We're handing out DQ from 5 until 7. There's 150. So first 150 people who come is going to get a DQ star. So definitely come and check us out. Come say hi.
And let us guide you home.
Exactly.
Yeah. I really do enjoy that. And definitely check out Kelsey Ballerini's.
Yeah.
Check out our Facebook page. I might be posting something of that. So if you've seen that on the Facebook page, that dig through that. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're on social media. So we're on Facebook and Instagram. How can they get a hold of you directly?
They can call me at 715-323-2577. It is a very textable number too. So if you're into that, send me a text and, as soon as I get a free moment, I can get you an answer.
Yep. Send us an email at myrapidsradio@gmail.com. myrapidsradio@gmail.com.
There we go.
Yeah. Or head over to myrapids.com for all those fun things about our inventory in the area.
Yeah. And again, we'd like to thank all the military families out there for their service, for their loved ones as well, who are serving our country. We do appreciate that. So thank you very much.
And those who have given the ultimate sacrifice.
Correct. All right. So with that, you guys have a great Central Wisconsin day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.